Hello, Dr. Foley and class. My name is Cole Williquette, and I am in the Grand Canyon University Master's Program for Elementary Education, currently in the Foundations of Elementary Education course 525. For the dispositions, I thought I'd first start with my results that I got for the disposition assessment survey. I noticed for the first three, I went with strongly agree. Honestly, I could have strongly agree with this entire survey. I felt as if a lot of these identified with how I feel for education. The first three were talking about individual learners, and I felt that, that's huge as an educator. You have to recognize that every student is individually different. They learn differently. They don't learn all at the same pace. Everyone has their own strengths to bring to the table, and you have to recognize that and develop ways to use that in your classroom. Other than that, going with as teachers as ethical in the classroom. There's really no other way to do it, especially in today's teaching environment. You have to be ethical in what you do. Otherwise, it can really come back to bite you in the end if you don't. Reflection has gotten me so far in my career for the first 6 years here. Every year's been different. I've grown in certain ways. I've developed a lot of new things just to kind of make my curriculum better, my instruction better for my students. Plus, you never get the same classroom, so you always have to kind of be flexible and adjust to what kind of class you got coming in. Curiosity and just developing inquiry in your classroom is huge. You got to let the kids want to learn. You have to find ways to make them want to learn. That's where it's going to be important for you that they grow and develop, is that they have to like what they're doing. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty easy for them to shut down and not need to do what they need to do in class. As a role model in the classroom, I think that's super important. Especially the community I work with currently, it's low income. A lot of students come from a lot of backgrounds, and they don't really have strong role models. And in the classroom, this might be the only chance they get to see some form of a role model. So that's why I always feel it's important to try to really be a professional role model, to try to have these kids not necessarily be like me, but at least see some ways that they can try to grow and be better people. Kind of piggybacking off that, relationships with students. You should have a professional relationship with all your students. Treat them individually. Show that you're interested in all their individual interests, and find ways, to show interest in what their hobbies are and what they like to do for fun. It goes a long way. Just a 5-minute conversation per student per day can go a long way when you're trying to reach them trying to teach them and trying to reach them. The community is extremely important. Culturally, make sure you identify with the culture of the community, be supportive of it. I currently work on a Native American reservation. Culture is a little bit different, and the community can sometimes feel a little bit isolated from the education community at the school. You got to have that gap bridged. You have to be celebrating of the community and its culture and incorporate it into your curriculum if you can. It'll go a long way. And bring the community in for educational purposes, guest speakers, assistants in the classroom. People in the community really like that. It shows that the community and the school are one entity, not two different ones. And finally, you got to be committed to what you do. I know you should be committed anyway, and that's why you're in the program. But honestly, if you're not committed to what you're doing and being a professional and being a lifelong learner and wanting to be excited about learning new things and new ways to get your students to learn, then you're not in the right profession. You have to want to do what you're doing. You have to love what you're doing, be enthusiastic and passionate about it. I feel strongly about that. So like I said, I could have strongly agree with all these, but I think for the most part I was strongly agree, but I did have a few agrees. So I think though it could have, as an educator, I could have went all strongly agree. Now finally, as an educator, what's going to make me successful and what's already made me successful, this is my sixth full-time teaching year that I've had. You have to be reflective, and I feel like that's something I need to continue to get better at. I've been reflective in the past, and it's helped me tremendously. However, I just need to continue along that path. I have to always be accepting of professional development and wanting to learn new ways and new things. I'm a lifelong learner. I think that's a strength of mine. I think that's going to help me go a long way as a teacher. I'm collaborative. I'm creative. I like creating new things that other teachers haven't really done before. And also, I love what I do. I'm enthusiastic. The kids sometimes get annoyed with it, but it's a way to get the kids involved and excited about what you're doing. And a professional educator, that's what they look like. They love what they're doing. They're always thinking of new things. They're lifelong learners, and they're wanting to make sure that the students and the community, they're all together as one entity. thank you guys for listening, and I hope you enjoyed my disposition.